Hi, I'm Dominic. This is the Elite Handheld Accessory System. Hopefully through all this discussion, you'll get an understanding of the direction of the design as well as how to use this stuff. With any handheld kit, you're going to start off with your crossbar. We have 3 different crossbars available. One starts off with just 15mm lightweight. We have a 15mm Studio, which also has 15mm lightweight, and a 19mm Studio that is also 15mm lightweight. All of these crossbars are made out of 7075 aluminum. This is on purpose for the sheer fact of the high yield strength of the material, which means that it's very, very hard to actually bend and distort this to the point of non-recovery. So in other words, it's super strong. We also have stainless steel knobs on these that actually have a hex tool set inside of it. You have the ability of using either a 3/16 Allen or a 4mm Allen key inside this in order to lock these down. Each of the crossbars also have a swivel T-plate on the end of them. You can get the color kit for this, so you actually color code these, whether it's an A, B, or C camera. Now you can see the U-shape style or the arch design on this unit. This is to allow the crossbars to be on the camera while the camera is on the head. So even in a studio mode, these things can stay on the camera. This slides on even though we're on a studio base right there. I can lock those down by finger tight, but if I really want to crank them down, I can actually use an Allen key and then give them an extra crank on there to make sure that they'll never ever move. The next part is grips. We partner with a company called ODI. They build mountain bike grips, motocross, all kinds of grips for biking purposes. Because of their technology of their grip, we felt that this was going to be the best fit for wooden camera. And what's nice about these is that it's a single screw lockdown and they come apart. These grips can be interchanged. If you prefer not to have an ODI grip, you can use any other style mountain bike grips as long as it's the 135mm design. You'll also notice on these, all the rosettes are machined into the 7075 aluminum. This was a decision that we made because one of the annoyance over time with most handheld kits is the fact that the rosettes will eventually break loose and you always have this kind of loose factor to them. Because these are machined into the aluminum, they'll never ever be that weak point. If I really want to crank that down and make sure that it doesn't move, I can just use an Allen key on here, tighten that up a little snug, and I never have to worry about that breaking loose. So same grip, other side. I'll add just a little squeeze on here. And now I have a handheld kit that's sitting up on this mock-up of the Alexa 35. I can, at this point, pull this camera off the head and we can just throw this directly up onto the shoulder. So it's as simple and quick as we can possibly make this. Now, naturally, there's no shoulder pad on this, but my experience with professional operators is a lot of times they just put Duvetine on their shoulder, or they have a different flat plate that they put on the bottom that has Velcro on it that they can then attach a shoulder pad to, or they're wearing a shoulder pad. But the idea is these grips are good, ready to go, solid, and I can put it back onto the head without having to readjust anything. The next thing is the dog bones or extensions. So we chose on this Elite Handheld Accessory System to go with 3 different lengths of dog bones. So we have a 4-inch, a 6-inch, and an 8-inch dog bone. Right here is the 6-inch. And on the 6-inch, you can see a kind of a design on here. So we have these pentagram designs on this, on both sides of this. These are for lightning purposes, but they're done in such a way that it's maintaining the most amount of strength that we possibly can in this 7075 aluminum dog bone. This is stronger than all of the other ones that we've tested. That's an important aspect. So if you're grabbing onto this, it is stable, strong, and should not give away. The dog bones themselves also have a offset to them. So as they're attached, they're actually pushing the grips slightly out. That allows for that nice, comfortable hold together. And at the same time, when you break them down, it can all break down into a nice tight setup, which I will show in a little bit. So now we have the 6-inch extensions with our grips. This whole thing pops off. As you can see, it's strong, stable. I don't have to worry about it. I can also change the position of the arms to the most optimal place for your operator, and we can change the grip positions. And again, once you've got that spot that you like the best, you can tighten it down and you never have to worry about it moving after that. The other thing that we want to go over is actually the breakdown on this. So if I loosen this up and we slide these off the rods, We want to be able to pack this up. Naturally, it's all set up in this manner. We don't necessarily want to keep it this big in your camera bag. In this particular case, we're actually going to just kind of spin things around. So now you have a kit that's all broken down that you can easily put inside, either in a pocket or inside your onset bag. It's also real easy on your camera cart. Another setup for the Elite Handheld Accessory System is literally attaching these items directly to rosettes that may be based on your cage. So on the Alexa 35 cage, we actually have rosettes on the sidebars of this kit. And let's set this up for potential easy rig setup with a 4-inch extension and then one with a 6-inch extension. So now we have the ability of controlling the camera front and back real easily. This is great for those easy rig setups. It can be set and hung from above, but now I have that control of the camera front and back. I can operate, lift, and control, tilt, and so on. This naturally can be done so that both sets are forward and you can use it instead of holding onto a mat box. So now I have the control of that camera like this. Also on the Elite Handheld Accessory System is the ability to use the lightweight rod setups. We have now a Sony Burano up on here. I have some 15 mil rods that we're going to go ahead and place into the lightweight rod system here. We talked about before that I have a lightweight rod system by itself, and we have one that is the 19 plus 15 mil lightweight. What's also unique about our design is the fact that even though we built this so it can be studio or lightweight, even though we have the studio rods, it's not an either or. So at this particular point, I can mount this over onto the 15 mil studio, even though there's 19 mil rods there. So the idea now is when we're in this mode, I can still remove this camera off of the Arca base plate and leave the studio accessories on the head. In this case, right now, what we're going to also do is actually just change over to the 15 mil lightweight system. So as you can see, this is fitting on the 15 mil lightweight rods. You do not need the 19 mil studio or 15 mil studio rods to still have your handheld kit together on your rod base. This is for jobs that are really trying to lighten the camera down as much as possible. And with the Arca base system from Wooden Camera, we actually have a shoulder plate. So I can now slide this off. I now have the lowest position on the camera that we can get because there's no studio base on it. I can pop in a plate for a shoulder pad. This plate is just gonna have the soft side hook and loop on the bottom. You can attach any pad you want, and you can now put it up on the shoulder and find your proper balance position. The plate itself is adjustable forward and back. The idea of a heavy lens and mat box on here, camera has to slide back, and the plate can then be countered with that so that it's underneath the shoulder where you need it most. That wraps up the Elite Handheld Accessories from Wooden Camera. If you want more information on this, please go to woodencamera.com and tell us how would you use these accessories in the comments below.